Maureen, the choir enjoys a wonderful reputation in Australia. How did it all begin?
Well, it was a thought of Paul Forster, who was a wonderful musician, amazing musician, and his children have all become musicians and earn their living. And from there, Paul was with the choir for 6, 7, 8 years, and from there, Richard Gurner came in as Director of Music. And we've had several conductors since then. But Andrew Wales, of course, is the current conductor and has been there 16 years.
When it was first started, was there a specific mission? Was there a specific goal that you hoped to achieve?
Paul wanted to foster music no matter how. He just wanted every child to be able to sing, to be involved in music, because it's, as they say, it's a universal language. And it's if you've got music, you often find that the kids who have got music have more, they do better with their schoolwork, they're more disciplined, all those kinds of things. And that was Paul's vision, was to have everybody involved in music, and wanted it throughout Australia, and he based it on the sound of the Vienna Boys Choir.
At the time, was he looking at any specific age group? I mean, presumably they start fairly young, don't they?
Yes.
What about 7?
Yeah. 7, yes. At that stage it was 7 to 15. It was children's choir. We now go through to 18, 19, because the children don't want to leave. They're not children then, but they don't want to leave. I think it's the social aspect as well, and they keep coming back.
Tell me something about the audition process. I take it it's not quite like The Voice and blind auditions, is
it? No. The children come along. We go into schools and listen to the children. We don't have to do it through the school. We advertise that there is an open audition day. They come along, they're given and it's done in a group so as the child is not inhibited. Some go out crying for whatever reason, because they just become emotionally involved. But they have to read a piece of literature so as we can see that they read. They have to pitch notes back to whomever is auditioning, normally Andrew Wales. They then sing something like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, Advance Australia Fair, so as you can hear that they can keep their pitch.
When you say they had to read a piece of literature,
yes.
What about reading music? Is that a prerequisite?
No, not at all, no. And that's what they're taught to do, of course, in the younger groups. And there's, these names have changed over the years. We used to have melody and harmony, now it's juniors. And you have your observers who are ready to come into the main choir, senior choir.
Not only does the choir obviously perform right throughout Melbourne, Victoria and interstate,
yes.
You have enormous records of performance overseas. I mean,
yes.
The choir really has become a wonderful ambassador for Australia, hasn't it?
Definitely so, yes, definitely so. I've been on all overseas tours with the exception of, I think, the last 2. We've been to China and Europe, and Austria was just wonderful. Germany, China, Beijing. Our very first overseas trip was to Hong Kong, and we were guests of the Hong Kong government. They actually paid our accommodation, etc., which was very, very good. And that was our very first trip overseas. And from there it just went on. We did Llangollen, the Welsh Eisteddfod, and came equal 10th, which was something in those days, because no Australian choirs had ever done that before. So that was...
What is it then that makes it as successful as it is so obviously?
It's I suppose I could say, being pedantic about the sound, the discipline. The children must be disciplined in rehearsal. Listening for the sound, listening for that true sound. The voice sounds not a whole lot of voices. as one. I love to hear the children sing. I love to go and sit in rehearsal because they just have that, it makes you feel, you get tingly up and down your spine because the children are, they're fulfilling, you can see they're enjoying themselves.
Maureen, tell me something about the training that is involved for those children joining the Australian Children's Choir.
Well, they don't need to have had any formal training. It is always it's an advantage, of course, if they're learning an instrument, but they don't need to have formal training because what we're looking at doing is we want to train them in the way we want them to respond, seeing that the notes are going up or the notes are going down and whether there's a skip or a step. And realising intervals when they're singing. And that's really the basis of when after they've been auditioned, that's what you're looking to do with them, is to make them able to what's happening with the music. Also, reading the words. If they read the words through, they get the concept of what's the story about. Because usually a lot of music, most music, is storytelling. So when you learn what the story is about, you get the expressiveness in your singing.
Interpretations.
Yeah.